Hey guys, so today we're finally getting around to doing the husband tag for the third time. We've had 2 errors with my camera on the first 2 rounds, so we're probably going to get through this fast because there's not a lot of thinking to these questions once you've seen them twice. Question number 1, where did we meet?
On the internet.
On the interwebs, and then we met in person 2 years later at a mall where it was safe. But I'm just going to point out that we're kind of like the hipsters of internet dating because this was like in 2001, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it was like before even adults met on the internet, let alone teenagers. So, where was our first date? I think I just said it.
Yeah.
The mall. But we went to the movies. We went to the movies that day. Your first impression of me?
Well, my first impression was this girl almost hit me in the parking lot.
He almost hit me.
No. We almost hit each other.
We were turning in the mall parking lot, and yeah, we almost hit each other. I don't think it was anyone's fault. I just think it was like bad car funneling of. It was okay. Whatever. It was your fault. And that's like that's happened to us like 4 times though. Like it's almost like turned into each other in weird places. But well, my first impression of you was he's so cute. Just I don't know if I'm supposed to answer that, but I wanted to. He's better looking in person. When did you meet my family?
The same day that we met in
Not
person.
all my family though.
Most of it.
He met my mom, you didn't meet Matt though.
No, I met your mom and your sister.
I don't know when you met my brother, but you met my mom, my sister, her ex-husband. And you met Katie, my niece, like when I met you, because I took her with me. Because I always took Katie with me everywhere because my sister was like going to school and working. My mom was sick. My dad worked a lot. So I was like Katie's second mom. And so when I took her that day, I was like, I'm going to take Katie because, well, first off, I'm not like saying this as an adult. I'm like, okay, this sounds really bad. I'm like, I'm going to take Katie to meet this stranger, this little 3-month-old baby. I took her because I was like, we were going to a mall. So, I mean, obviously there was plenty of people around if he was like some 50-year-old creeper. But Katie was like, I knew when I was with her that all my attention would be like focused on her. And I wouldn't be nervous about worrying about like what he's thinking because I'd be worried about the baby. So that was my reasoning. That was my logic. Probably not great logic, but and then my dad met him probably like, was it New Year's Eve?
I don't remember. It was close to that.
Yeah, but my dad's story is that he said this at our wedding. My dad's a police officer, and the first thing he does, he always would come home and go through the living room and through the back room and into the bedroom and take his gun belt off and stuff like that. And he said he like came home and then he heard a male voice from my from my bedroom, and he put his gun belt back on and he went down the hallway. And so he met Justin. And he said that Justin had a belt on, he had his shirt tucked in, and his hair combed back, and a little part of him was upset because he knew this was going to be the guy that took his baby girl. I don't know why he knew that, but maybe dads just know.
Maybe.
Or maybe it was like, this is the guy that I would let because the other guys were scary.
Either way, he still gave me an application.
Yeah, he did. He gave an application to date my daughter, and we wish somebody didn't lose it because that would have been super funny at our wedding. I met his family at his grandma's birthday. I don't know how long into dating it was, though. Weird habit of each other. There's some of these questions that we're like, either 1, we're not answering, or 2, it's like we don't have that. That, or we're so weird that we don't think what each other does is weird. Because we don't think we have weird habits. We probably do. It's probably what I said. We're just so weird.
That seems like something you should ask other people.
Yeah, because we don't think we have weird habits. How long have we been together?
Well, if you count married, it will be 10 years this year. But together, it'll be 14. Yeah, because we met in 2001.
But at the end of
At the end of this year.
so we've been together 13 years.
As of right now, we've been together 13 years.
And married 9.
Married 9.
What was our first road trip?
San Antonio.
Yeah. First thing you noticed about me.
Your eyes.
That's the first thing I noticed about him too. But it's different. We'll get to that. I think I get to that in another question. Okay, do we have any traditions together? We have a lot and we can never think of them. We always give each other like gifts on Easter. We have little Easter baskets.
Yeah. We do Christmas Vacation on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
We watch that movie.
Since I was little, we've been doing that, and then he and I kept up that tradition. We always watch it that night, and then we start decorating the next day, always. Tradition, hold on, I feel like we have more.
You already said we have a few, but we can't remember.
Yeah, I just can't remember all our traditions right now. It's pretty stupid because they're traditions. You should be able to remember them, but I remember them when it's time for that tradition. Let's see.
Skip the animal one.
Yeah, what animal resembles what?
Resembles?
Resembles. It sounds like something Medea would say. What animal resembles one another?
What animal resembles?
Yeah. What animal resembles one another? We are not answering that because that is such a rude question. First thing you noticed about me. Did I ask you that already?
You did. You've been scrolling around.
What scrolling around?
Scrolling around.
What pisses him off? People. Crowds of people. Stupid people. Loud people. Lots of people.
Noticing a theme here? Apparently I'm not a people person.
But that's yeah. Favorite feature of each other. I like the shape of his eyes, and that Justin thinks that's so weird. But his eyes are shaped in this really sweet, caring, like, way. I don't know how to explain it. I just like them.
Your eyes are my favorite feature too. But now that you've already trumped that with the whole romantic.
Just never mind.
It's a cheesy answer anyway to say that, but it's true.
Yeah. Okay, this one we were like, no. 3 things I'm good at, 3 things I'm not good at. Like we sat there forever and we could think of good things, but there is like 3 things I'm not good at. That's just so rude. And then we couldn't think of stuff that we would say. Maybe we're just too sweet.
I can think of 3 things that neither one of us are good at.
Coming up with answers.
Answering that question, answering that question, and answering that question.
Yeah. It's just not, we're not.
That's.
People are going to be like, oh, they're too perfect.
That's another question that's trying to get people in a fight, I think.
Well, yeah, but honestly, like, we tried to think of stuff. Like, after the first time, like, if y'all could see the first time we filmed it, it was like, we can't. And we talked about, like, the second time, we're like, I don't know. We think we're great. And we think there's, we think there's so many great things about us. We can't just, like, come up with 3 alone. What do we argue about most? Here's another one. They're going to be like.
Yeah. We don't really argue anymore.
We don't.
We used to argue about money whenever we would, our fights would usually be about money and finances.
When we were younger,
Yeah.
like 19, 20.
Yeah.
But.
We were in really bad debt, and so it made things really stressful, and then we didn't really communicate with one another very well, so it kind of built up and turned into these big fights. But now we don't really have that problem anymore, so.
We don't ever fight, and people are probably going to be like, everyone fights. You're just lying. Or they're going to be like, y'all are sickly, disgustingly sweet or some crap like that. But honestly,
we really don't. I mean,
we've been together so long that we've learned to communicate.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't escalate to a fight.
Yeah. And we have a budget now, so the finance thing is kind of
Yeah, it's
not a
not an
problem
issue.
anymore.
Also, another thing is, when one of us is in a bad mood, we'll just say something like, "Hey, you're being an ass," or
I feel like that might be directed a little bit.
no,
Because
that's
I don't call you an ass.
No, you're not. You're just like, well, you're grumpy, but I've never called you an ass either, though, really. So I'm just saying, like, in terms of, we'll just be like, hey, you know, or we'll like make jokes, like pick at them. Like if I'm being grumpy, Justin will pick at me till it makes me laugh. Like that's how we deal with cranky moments. Do I have PMS?
No.
I don't. No, I just don't. I don't know if it's because of my PCOS and my hormones. I don't have a lot of. I don't know. I'm more testosterone. I don't know, but I've never gotten PMS or crazy. Even when I take fertility drugs, I have like mood swings and stuff, but I don't get like crazy. I don't think like some people have told me stories like they almost got divorced when their wife was on fertility drugs, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, I just eat a lot. Who wears the pants in the relationship?
We both do. We each
One leg each.
We have a leg each in the pants.
Yeah.
Or we have pants that have 4 legs.
It's the only way to make it. Well, sometimes like one of us will wear it, the other will hand over the pants, but most of the time we share it. Sometimes one person's suited better to wear them in that situation. It's like a back and forth or even. And I mean, that's just how we make our relationship work. I think that's why so many high school sweethearts don't make it, because they, instead of like learning from their earlier years of fights and issues, instead of like taking that and working on it, and yeah, you'll be unhappy for a while when you're going through that, but in the end, you end up learning from it and staying together and saving your marriage. But I think nowadays it's become so common to like, oh, you're unhappy, just get divorced. Now there's reasons to get divorced. We totally understand that, and like there's been times where we've thought about it when it was really hard, but for us it just wasn't something that we considered an option. But there are totally situations to get divorced. We're not saying that, we're just saying that I feel like people get married too soon and too young, and they don't try really, really hard, and maybe more marriages could have been saved, but I don't know.
We were also together for 4 years before we got married, so.
Yeah, we didn't just like fall in love and like, let's run off and get married. Like we were together 4 years, so we knew each other pretty well. Do I have any weird obsessions?
Yes.
Lots. We don't have time for all of them. Nicknames for each other. I think the standard. Baby. Love. Then the weird ones. Boo Boo. Boo Pookie. Yeah. What's my favorite restaurant?
Spanish Village.
Mm-hmm. You don't have one. You have several favorites. And they change. If I'm watching TV, what am I watching? Alone.
If you're watching TV by yourself, you're probably watching Once Upon a Vampire's Scandal in Nashville.
In Nashville.
I think that's the name of the show.
There's a show with that name.
Sure.
What is one food I do not like?
Well, there's always seafood.
Doesn't count because I'm allergic.
That's because your body hates it so much
Because
that it
it'll
rejects
kill
it.
me.
Meat, though, probably.
Don't really like meat. What drink do I order when we go out to eat? My favorite drink, because sometimes I change it. Like if I'm not drinking soda.
Your favorite drink's probably Dr. Pepper, but
Or Pibb. If they have Mr. Pibb, I'll always have Mr. Pibb over Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
But used to be Dr. Pepper.
Yep. But when you're on not soda, it's usually lemonade or strawberry lemonade.
Or never water, because restaurant water's gross. I won't drink
It's too hit or miss to know if you're gonna get good water or not.
Yeah.
I'll only drink the finest Perrier.
Just tap water has a funny taste to me.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
It's so different between different restaurants and whether or not it goes through their filter or not. It's just, yeah. Restaurant water can sometimes taste really funny.
Yeah. Gross. That's the word I was looking for.
Gross is okay.
Okay. What shoe size do I wear?
10.
Favorite kind of sandwich?
Grilled cheese.
What is one talent I have? Just one. That's it. Can you narrow it down? Just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Seriously, yeah.
I'd say crafting.
Okay. What would I eat every day if I could? So many things.
I don't. Tiramisu.
Or Mexican food.
Mexican food.
My favorite cereal.
O's.
Yeah, but we don't really eat cereal. Favorite kind of music? This is a dumb question.
All of them.
All of them. Pretty much. Like literally classical, reggae, country, just everything.
Although you're probably not really as big a fan of like trance and stuff like that I listen to.
No, I don't like that. Just because I've never liked it. And then because it reminds me of all the kids in high school that like popped ecstasy and I don't know. Also like I was like I still love ska and punk music too, like Dead Kennedys or Ramones, but then also like newer punk music and let's see what else kind of weird. People would be like, she listens to that? I'm trying to think. What else?
You like pretty much all kinds of music.
I do. My favorite sports team.
Oh, that's a tough one. The
Don't say
the Toronto Maple Leafs. No, that's
that a real
probably,
thing?
that's not it. Yes. I
Oh.
think. Well, I don't know if it's Toronto.
Is it-
I don't really follow hockey. It's just the first thing that popped into my head. The Philadelphia Eagles. Easily.
What's my favorite eye color?
What's your favorite eye?
Oh wait, was it?
I don't know. What is your favorite eye color?
What's my eye color? This is the dumbest question ever. Seriously.
Red.
It's his favorite feature, but he's not quite sure on the color.
Yeah. It looks red to me.
Who's my bestest friend? This guy. I mean, I have like good friends, but like honestly, my best friend in the whole wide world is my husband. Something that I do that you wish I didn't do.
Ask me that question.
Another one I just don't think is appropriate to answer.
I'm not answering that.
See, no fights. If you made me a cake for my birthday, what kind of cake would it be?
Tiramisu.
Where am I from? Well, that's a silly question because obviously we grew up in Texas. So let's just say, what's my heritage?
English, Irish, Native American, not necessarily in that order.
Was it more specifically Cherokee? I feel like that's important to say. I don't know why. Allergies. Justin's the same, but we're in different ratios. Yeah. As strange as it seems. I probably have more Native American in me than Irish or English. I am also related to the Kennedys. My Nana was a Kennedy. I also had family that came over here on the Mayflower. And I am a daughter of the Republic of Texas because my like great grandpa set up the education system in Texas. And my grandpa on my other side, he saved the Blackfoot Indian tribe and was made an honorary chief. And that's not even the Native American part of my family. Oh yes, my Native American, was it my grandma? My great grandpa? The Native American in my family was kidnapped. So that's how that came into my family. What about you? Do you know yours?
Maybe.
Well, now that I made that all about myself, it's terrible.
I mean, I feel like at some point though, when so many generations have been American, you're just American with a certain background. We're all kind of.
But like Nana's family has only been over here like 80 years or barely.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, less than 100. They came over here fresh off the boat on Ellis Island.
I think the nearest actual immigrant to America in my family is probably my great-grandparents. Because, well, maybe my grandpa, I don't really remember. I never met him, so he died before I was born.
The one that looks like everyone?
Yeah.
That sounds weird. He has a grandpa, like all his uncles look, well, a lot of his uncles look just like his grandpa. And I had never met a lot of his uncles, and his uncle Jesse Earl is like such a sweet man. We just passed away like a few months ago. So sad. I remember though the first time I met him, I think it was a family reunion, we have a picture of Justin's grandpa hanging in our dining room. And I see it every day, so I know what his grandma and grandpa look like. But I know that Justin never met him and he's passed away. And I remember one of his family reunions, the one where I finally saw his uncle Jesse Earl, I stopped and I was like looking around and I was like, does anyone else see this? I'm seeing a ghost. Like I was freaking out because he is like a carbon copy of your grandpa. It's like, I guess if my mom and I were like at the same age and someone saw us, because I'm like literally pretty much a carbon copy of my mom. It freaks people out the way that what I saw freaked me out. I thought I was seeing like a ghost. I don't know. But a lot of his uncles, as they age, they look like Jesse Earl and your grandpa.
What's that saying? The seed is strong.
Yeah. I don't know I always wonder what our children's going to look like, because he has really strong family genes and mine are super strong too. So I'm like, who's going to win?
They're going to have to battle it out.
It's going to be a battle royale. So, well, let's see. Do I play any sports?
You run.
Yeah, I do like 5Ks. It's been a hot minute, but I do 5Ks and stuff. But if you ask that question like years ago, then I did like tons of sports and stuff in high school as a cheerleader, dancing, blah, blah, blah. But right now, all I really do is run. All I really do is run. I started like looking in the neighbors and the girls just like looking in here and they're probably like, what are they doing with those lights and this camera? Sorry. Did you see her? Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, what could I spend hours doing? That's the last question.
Crafting.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that you're talented at.
Mm-hmm. I could. Oh, if we were rich. This house would be a mess with crafts. It wouldn't be a mess because I couldn't stand for that. It would be a very container stored craft room. Oh, if we had the money. The Container Store is my favorite place in the world sometimes. It has nothing to do with the question, but yes, crafting. Sometimes I go into Hobby Lobby when there's 50% off and I think like I need to leave now. I need to run.
Sometimes I can't let you go in Hobby Lobby by yourself.
I know. I can't help it. I guess it's a good thing we lost my hard drive because all those pictures, I was about to start scrapbooking.
We didn't lose it. It just doesn't work anymore.
We just have to pay like a couple $1,000s to get my pictures back.
Yep. So that'll be a while.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to end this because we're digressing as always, and we'll see you guys later. Bye!
Bye!